The Sparrow Family near the window. Early one peaceful morning, when the sky was still soft and pale with the first light of sunrise, a small sparrow flew across a quiet neighborhood. The world was calm. The air was cool. Gentle sunlight slowly touched the rooftops, trees, and windows of the houses below. The little sparrow's name was Chinu. He was a cheerful and hard-working sparrow who loved exploring new places. As he flew through the air, he carefully looked at every corner, every roof, and every tree branch. Chinu was not flying just for fun that morning. He was searching for a place to build a home. Not just any home, a safe and warm nest for his future family. Chinu flew over gardens, electric wires, balconies, and small trees. He saw many places where birds usually lived, but none of them felt perfect. Some places were too open. Some places were too crowded. Some places were not safe from rain or strong wind. After flying for a long time, Chinu finally noticed a quiet house with a small window that had a narrow ledge above it. The corner near the window looked peaceful and protected. Chinu landed softly on the ledge. He looked around carefully. No cats, no noise, no strong wind. It felt safe. Chinu chirped happily. But there was one more important thing to do before building the nest. He had to show the place to someone very special. Chinu quickly flew away again, flapping his wings fast through the cool morning air. Not far away, sitting on a tree branch, was another sparrow. Her name was Meenu. Meenu was kind, patient, and very smart. She had been waiting for Chinu to return with good news. As soon as she saw him flying toward her, she tilted her head and chirped curiously. Chinu landed beside her and began chirping excitedly. He told her about the place he had found near the window of the quiet house. Meenu listened carefully. Then both of them flew together to see the place. They reached the house and landed on the ledge near the window. Meenu looked around slowly. She checked every small corner. She listened to the sounds around the house. She watched the trees nearby. The place felt calm. Warm sunlight reached the spot in the morning, but it was also protected from strong rain. After a moment, Meenu chirped softly. Chinu understood immediately. She liked the place. This would be their home. Both sparrows felt happy and excited. Now it was time to start building their nest. The work began immediately. Chinu flew down to the ground and searched for small, dry grass pieces. Meenu looked for thin twigs and soft feathers. Back and forth they flew, again and again. They worked together the entire morning. Chinu would bring a small twig. Meenu carefully placed it in the corner. Then she adjusted it with her tiny beak to make the shape stronger. Piece by piece, the nest slowly began to form. At first, it looked messy, but sparrows know exactly how to build a nest. The base became stronger. The sides slowly curved upward. More grass, more feathers, more tiny twigs. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher in the sky. Still, the two sparrows continued working. Sometimes they stopped for a few minutes to rest. Sometimes they chirped to each other happily. They were not tired. They were excited. They were building the place where their future babies would live. By the afternoon, the nest had become much bigger. It was round and soft inside. Meenu carefully arranged feathers in the middle to make the nest warm and comfortable. Chinu stood nearby, watching proudly. Their small home was beginning to look beautiful, but the work was not finished yet. The next day they continued building, and the day after that. Each day the nest became stronger and softer. Sometimes the wind tried to move the twigs, but Chinu and Meenu fixed everything again. Sometimes other birds flew nearby, curious about the new nest. But Chinu always stayed alert. He protected their home carefully. After several days of hard work, the nest was finally ready. It was small but perfect. Soft inside, strong outside, protected by the wall and the window above it. When the evening sun painted the sky with orange and pink colors, Chinu and Meenu sat together beside their nest. They chirped softly. They looked at the peaceful sky. They felt proud. They had built a home together, and very soon their little family would begin. The next few days were calm and quiet. Meenu spent more time inside the nest. Chinu brought food and kept watch around the house. One early morning, when the sunlight was just beginning to appear, something very special happened. Inside the soft nest, Meenu laid the first tiny egg. It was small and white, very delicate, very precious. Chinu looked at the egg with wonder. He chirped softly with happiness. Soon after, Meenu laid another egg. Now there were 2 tiny eggs resting gently in the warm nest. Chinu and Meenu were very happy. Their small family was beginning to grow. From that day forward, Meenu carefully sat on the eggs to keep them warm. Chinu worked harder than ever. Every day he flew around searching for food. He brought small seeds, tiny insects, and bits of grain. Sometimes he traveled far from the house to find the best food. Then he returned quickly to the nest. Whenever he came back, he chirped gently to Meenu. She answered with a soft chirp. Everything was peaceful. But raising a family requires patience. Days passed slowly. The eggs remained quiet. Still, Chinu and Meenu waited with hope. Every morning the sun rose. Every evening the sky became golden and calm. The world continued moving quietly around the little nest near the window. And inside that nest, 2 tiny lives were slowly growing. Chinu often imagined how the baby sparrows would look. Would they chirp loudly? Would they be brave flyers? Would they explore the sky like their parents? Meenu also dreamed about the future. She imagined teaching the babies how to open their wings, how to balance on branches, how to search for food. Both sparrows waited patiently. They knew that soon something wonderful would happen. And one quiet morning, the nest began to move slightly. A tiny sound came from inside one of the eggs, a very small sound. Chip, chip. Meenu lifted her head slightly. Chinu quickly flew closer. The egg was shaking. Something inside was trying to come out. A tiny crack appeared on the shell. Then another. Very slowly, the shell began to break. A small beak pushed through the opening. The first baby sparrow was arriving.